Hey everyone, today we're talking about the unsung hero of our energy future. I mean, it's the critical piece of tech that makes a world powered by renewables even possible: energy storage. This quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of the problem. We've gotten incredibly good at making energy, but lining up that production with the exact moment you need to flip a switch or charge your car, well, that's the real puzzle our modern grid is trying to solve. And this is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, if our entire future is going to rely on sources that are, fundamentally on again, off again, how do we guarantee the lights stay on 24/7? The answer, as we're about to see, is all about getting good at capturing and saving that energy for later. Okay, so this brings us right to the main issue facing this whole clean energy transition. It's not that we don't have enough power, it's about whether that power is reliable. And that's what we call the intermittency challenge. Just think about it for a second. Solar panels are cranking out the most electricity right in the middle of the day, right? But our peak energy demand is usually in the evening when everybody gets home from work. This mismatch, this gap between when we make power and when we use it, that is the single biggest hurdle for a 100% renewable grid. And that is exactly where the solution comes in: the energy storage system, or ESS. You can think of this thing as a bridge. It lets us grab all that extra solar and wind power when it's abundant and then release it precisely when we need it the most. It's all about smoothing out those bumps in renewable generation. So how do we actually build that bridge? Well, let's start with the most famous player in the game. A piece of tech you probably have in your pocket this very second: the lithium-ion battery. Yeah. A battery might just look like a boring little box of chemicals, but inside, down at the microscopic level, there's this constant, kind of elegant movement of ions. And this electrochemical dance is the real secret to how we store and release energy on demand. And this shows that dance perfectly. So when you charge your phone, lithium ions get pushed from one side, the cathode, over to the other side, the anode. That's where they're stored. The second you unplug and start scrolling, those ions, they want to go back home to the cathode. And that journey back is what unleashes a flow of electrons, creating the electricity that powers your device. Simple as that. Now, the reason this tech is literally everywhere comes down to a few key numbers. It has a high energy density, which just means it packs a ton of power into a really small, light package. It's also incredibly efficient. You get back over 90% of the energy you put in. And it's got a long cycle life, so you can recharge it thousands of times. It's that powerful combination that lets it scale from our phones all the way up to powering entire communities. But hey, lithium-ion isn't the only game in town, not by a long shot. For grid-scale storage, sometimes you have to think bigger, much, much bigger. So let's look at some truly massive engineering solutions that actually use the forces of nature itself. This right here is the OG grid-scale battery, and the concept is just beautifully simple. When you have extra cheap electricity, say on a really windy night, you use it to do one thing: pump a massive amount of water up a hill into a reservoir. Then, when demand for power is high, you just open the gates and let gravity do all the work, spinning turbines as the water flows back down. It's like a giant water battery. So this chart shows something called round-trip efficiency, basically how much energy you get back for every unit you put in. You can see pumped hydro over on the left. It's the clear champ, very mature. Compressed air, also pretty effective. Then you've got hydrogen with the lowest efficiency. That's because making hydrogen from electricity and then turning it back into electricity just has more steps where you lose energy. But it has a unique superpower that kind of makes up for it. And that superpower is time. You see, while batteries and pumped hydro are great for storing energy for a few hours, maybe a day, hydrogen is different. You can make it in the summer when solar is everywhere, store it in huge tanks for months, and then turn it back into electricity in the dead of winter. It's the key to cracking seasonal storage. Okay, so where's all this cool tech heading? Well, the next wave of innovation is all about making storage not just more powerful, but also way more affordable, safer, and a whole lot smarter. This slide really captures the evolution of the field, right? On one side, you've got the veteran, pumped hydro. It's massive. We're talking gigawatt scale, enough to power a city, but you're limited to places with the right geography, mountains and water. And on the other side, you've got the challenger, solid-state batteries. They're still emerging, but they promise to pack even more power than lithium-ion into a much safer, smaller package. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to cost. This number, less than $50 per kilowatt hour, is kind of the holy grail for the industry. A kilowatt hour, by the way, is roughly what your fridge uses in a day. So getting the cost of storing that much energy below $50, that's the magic number that experts believe will make storage an absolute no-brainer for every new solar and wind project in the world. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. Because the future isn't just about finding one single breakthrough technology. It's about weaving all of these different solutions together into one seamless, intelligent, and super responsive energy network. And this is the toolkit that's going to get us there. Just imagine AI predicting our energy needs with crazy accuracy. Imagine millions of electric vehicles not just taking power from the grid, but actually giving it back during peak hours using vehicle-to-grid tech. Throw in some smart management systems and a circular economy where we recycle every single battery component, and what you have is the blueprint for a truly resilient and sustainable grid. So let's just end on this thought. Energy storage isn't just an add-on or some helpful accessory. It is the fundamental enabling technology. It's the backbone that gives our clean energy future the strength and the reliability it absolutely needs to stand on its own. It's what makes the entire revolution possible.